I would just like to start off by talking about me and that girl that I'm about to be talking about are two completely separate entities, two completely separate beings. Do not associate me with her whatsoever. So, like, we all experience having a crush. And it's a fun experience, you know, to have those butterflies in your stomach, to have those googly eyes, to have that heart racing. You know, it's honestly very, very, very fun. But unfortunately, I did not have a fun experience. Which honestly was all my fault. To some degree. So here I am, in 6th grade, drawing my drawings, doing my homework, doodling my doodles. Nothing extreme or out of the ordinary for a 6th grader. And then it happens. My teacher, I'll call her Miss M, she came up to me and said, I said my real name, cutting that out. But she came up to me and said, Springer, I just met the boy version of you. Now I'm intrigued. The boy version of me? Who the me? Only I'm me. And it goes on and on and on, where almost every day she's talking about this boy that's just the boy version of me and that I should really meet him one day. I honestly don't think much of it. I'm just like, okay. And then I move on. I don't really think that much of it until one day she actually introduces the boy to me. Bro, I don't know what came over me, but in that moment I was like, that is my partner. That is gonna be my husband. Me at 6th grade. Never in my life have I ever liked the boy this much, or at all, to be honest. In my life, I've only ever liked 2 boys, and that was very mellow. It was like, they're cute, I guess. And that was pretty much it. This was the first time I've ever, thought, I could really like this boy. I know we can't choose who we can fall in love with. Well, strong fucking word. But I know we can't choose who we end up liking. But dear Lord, do I wish I could have chosen in that moment to not like that boy. Because the amount of shit I end up feeling after this crush is absolutely ridiculous and horrendous. And it's honestly, most of it is my fault, to be honest. So time goes by, and then I end up joining the art club in my school. And lo and behold, he also ends up joining the art club. And if I'm remembering correctly, I'm pretty sure that's when we started to actually interact with each other for the first time, if I'm not mistaken. And he was a pretty chill dude. He liked the same animators that I liked. He liked the same shows that I liked. He liked pretty much all the same stuff that I liked. As a kid, I'm thinking, oh, so we're getting married. Honestly, looking back on it, it's hilarious and funny, but also, dear Lord. I don't even want to get into too much specifics of what I was thinking at that time because it's genuinely embarrassing and I shrivel up back into my body and ejaculate back into a cellular cell when I think about it. One thing that I did repeatedly, almost every day, was I would end up calculating the perfect time to bump into him at a specific door. I precisely needed to go at this hour, this day, these many minutes, and these many seconds. It was on repeat. And the thing is, I wouldn't even talk to him. I would just pass him like a fool. It was so dumb, but also cute when I look back on it, but also very dumb. Honestly, at that time, I was just enjoying having a crush and living my life. It was a very enjoyable experience. I didn't really think that much into it. And that's when this one specific thing happened that really changed the mark, I feel like, in my heart as a kid. So there was this dance that all the middle schoolers went to. Obviously, I also went. And all the group of girls ended up huddling together and started talking about the boys that they like. Me, obviously, I end up bringing up him, that I like him. And everybody, shrugs it off, is like, oh, okay, and time goes on. Literally, not even 2 to 3 days later, one of the girls that I ended up telling that I had a crush on this boy ends up asking him out and they end up dating. Literally, I was shocked. because I literally told her that I liked him not even like 2 days ago. But I couldn't even get mad, or at least I felt like that, because we weren't even really friends like that. So it's not like she had some loyalty that she had to have with me. Like, no, we weren't really friends. And the most heartbreaking thing was when I ended up finding out that they were dating, he ended up pulling her to his lap and made her sit down on his lap. And I just watched, and my heart broke into a million pieces. Poor little me. Yeah, they ended up breaking up like a couple days later, but it was still a very heartbreaking experience. Time moves on, and I believe it was near graduation, and I was sitting with a friend, and then I basically, again, we were talking, and then I told her about my crush. And then after I'm done telling her who my crush is, she tells me, oh, I actually like him. Do you mind if I ask him out? This feels oddly familiar. So, like, I don't know how to react. So in response, all I end up saying is like, okay, if you like him. I honestly didn't know how to feel at that moment, because one thing about me was that I did not want to choose a guy over my friend. So I felt like if I were to say that she can't, I would be choosing a guy over my friend. And what kind of girl does that? Obviously, a few. So then the assembly ends, and she ends up walking up towards him and basically asks him out right in front of me. And what ends up happening is that he rejected her. I honestly didn't know how to react, and I genuinely don't remember what happened after. But that's what happened in that situation. It was a reoccurring theme. I tell somebody who my crush is, they end up asking them out, or they end up saying that they like them. Which is honestly a pattern I didn't realize was happening until much later, when I started to look back at my experiences. I came to realize that a lot of the relationships that I had with females in my life were actually pretty bad. And a lot of them, honestly, were in competition with me to almost prove something. Like, if I had a crush on somebody, they would feel the need to steal him. If I even had an ounce of confidence of saying, like, oh, I feel pretty today, they would feel the need to put it down. Things like that. Mean girl shit. It's absolutely ridiculous. And I didn't even realize it was happening until much later. I honestly do think because these situations did happen, it ended up making me have a crush on this boy even longer than I honestly needed to. Because of the betrayals that I did honestly face back then, and I didn't realize it until much later, I felt very much bitter, and I felt like, dang, like now I really want to have this boy because of all the stuff that happened in the past, which is honestly not fair to him whatsoever. And it just went to show that honestly at some point I didn't even like him anymore romantically. It was more of an ego and a pride thing than anything. And not much else happened after that. We were still chill. We hung out, and then eventually ended up moving away to live with my dad, so we never talked again. Until one day on Christmas when he texted me, but that's not important or relevant whatsoever. I never told him that I really liked him as a kid because I thought it was plainly obvious, and if he didn't want to say anything, I thought it was obvious he didn't like me. I mean, there was one time when it was snowing and I ended up covering him up with my umbrella in the snow, so it was plainly obvious that I had a thing for him. And if he didn't say anything, well, there wasn't anything to be said. I mean, I'm not about to embarrass myself more than I already have. Because when I tell you I have not gone into detail on the embarrassing that I've done when it regards to this crush, it's honestly revolting looking back on it, but also sweet at the same time, for me at least, because I do know that it was just a little girl that genuinely had a very, very, very big crush on a boy for the first time in like ever. A lot of things happened after I moved my dad. I ended up losing contact with pretty much everybody at that time, and because I ended up moving at the middle of COVID and also in the middle of high school, I didn't have any friends and anybody to really associate with, so I was mostly alone most of the time, which really did hurt because my life really did do like a whole 360 at that point in life. And I never really allowed myself to actually feel those feelings, and I just started working, saving up money, and trying to actually do something with my life. I won't say I never had any good experience, but it was honestly really hard to adjust. And I'm still happy that it all happened, to be honest. Because if every experience that I experienced never happened, I wouldn't have been the person that I am right now. And I'm honestly very, very happy with who I am right now. And I'm only growing as an individual day by day. So it was all planned, in my opinion. Cause she wears short skirts, I wear t-shirts. She's cute to get it out of the bleachers. Dreaming of the day that you wake up and find what you're looking for has been here the whole time.